Hey guys, how you doing? Russ here, Ask the Wizard. It is July 9th, another broadcast of Ask the Wizard almost daily. Topic for today is yes, things are getting weird. Well, they're only weird until you understand what's going on. Then they're encouraging, exciting, never dull. Now, Mary Jo and myself, and I'm getting messages from our folks, people that I talk to. Things are weird. Both in the sensations we feel in our body and even what we're seeing manifesting around us. Now, the three phases building up to, this has been building for a long time now, but the last however many months, year and a half or whatever, in the whole apocalypse, that's very much, there's been like a deconstructing that's happening. And the thing to remember is, in order to, let's try this. I lost my, oops. Oh, well, there it is. I'm going to do it anyway. There. And it just won't work. Oh, it did work. There we go. Anyway, whatever. See, things are weird. Sometimes in order to build something new, there needs to be a deconstructing. Now, looking at that in a larger picture, it's like a shedding of those things that don't serve us anymore and maybe never did in the first place. And if they did, they don't now. We've essentially outgrown them. And I guess that's something to remember too, is we're always growing. So we're designed to outgrow our present moment experience and then evolve into a bigger one, a better one. Not to say that the one you're in now is bad, although it could be, right? So we're designed to continually grow, expand, and evolve. I think that's what's important to remember. Nothing stays static. A lot of times what causes people issues is when they try and stay where they're at. Or one of my favorite words to dislike is they try to settle. They try and be satiated with mediocrity. And the reason I think I can use the N word, never works. Even though they may try and convince them, this is really good. Even though they may try and convince themselves that it is, because within each one of us, it's in our spiritual DNA, if you will, to grow, expand, and evolve. It's damn near it's impossible for us to stay in a hovering pattern without experiencing tension because it's not who we are. Now, there's times where it's like, I use my thing of phones, right? So there's can't remember the iPhone and the iPhone. So Samsung, right? Samsung 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there's kind of incremental change. Oh, cars. There we go. Yeah, I had a Mustang, 94 Mustang, beautiful car. I think it was about every 5 years, I believe, there would be like a fundamental shift in the design of the car. So for 5 years, they'd maybe change the tail lights or do little things, but you really had to know what you were doing to tell the difference. And then I think it's every 5 years. I don't know if it's probably not the same now. There would be like a really noticeable shift and change. So you go, boy, that's where it changed. It was kind of a little bit, and then everything changed. So yes, it's still a Mustang, but it looks significantly different. So what's been happening, again, building up to it, but what we're seeing, the action part of it happening in the last, again, 16, 17 months, whatever it is preparing for a big model change. So it's not incremental. It's big foundational changes. It's still your life, right? It's still a Mustang, but boy, does it look different. You kind of have to look at it twice to go, wow, that is still a Mustang kind of thing. And so the first phase of that is sort of stripping down what doesn't serve us, doesn't serve you anymore, which is what's been happening again over the last however many months, at least the first start of it. Then it moved into what I'm calling phase 2, which is then the foundation, right? The foundation needs to be evaluated. If there's cracks in the foundation, they need to be repaired and fixed. Maybe the foundation needs to be strengthened. Maybe it needs to be expanded, because when we move into step 3, which is what we're moving into now, is you're building the new house, right? The old house is torn down, foundation has been strengthened, expanded, whatever it needs to do in preparation for, now we're into the building of the new house. And so these deep fundamental energy flows and shifts, a way to think of it would be like an ocean, like in the ocean in a wave. So there's little waves, boop, 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 and then it kind of builds, and then a big wave comes in. So when this wave comes in, you're going to move. I don't know if you've been in the ocean. Man, you get in, well, even waist deep water. Probably doesn't even have to be that deep, but you get in waist deep water, and when that wave comes in, it'll just pick you up, right? You can try and stand and dig your feet into the sand or whatever, but it's going to pick you up and it's going to carry you. It doesn't hit you like a hammer, right? But it just picks you up and carries you, and you're going whether you like it or not. As a matter of fact, what it'll do is it'll even wash the sand out from underneath your feet. It's really, I mean, you guys have experienced this, I know, but you're out standing in the ocean, the wave comes in, it'll actually move the sand underneath your feet. So it's like you don't even have any, you're not grounded anymore. You try and dig your toes in, but the wave comes in, it'll pick you up, and it moves the sand underneath your feet. So you're just going. And so to try and fight that wave is kind of stupid, right? Because the wave is moving, and the wave is going to move you. So you can either try and fight it, or you can allow it to carry you. And it wouldn't surprise me at all if you're seeing like strange things happening out here in your experiences, like really weird coincidences, synchronicities, just maybe not like huge ones, but just weird ones. Whoa, that was like right out of the blue. That's weird type thing. Also, in your body. So one of the primary areas, is that interesting? I'm streaming at 8 minutes and my software says I'm streaming 17. There you go. Anyway, so you're feeling those flows in our body, because our body is that translator, right? Our body is this powerful translator from the non-physical into the physical. And so as this wave is moving through, don't be surprised if you're feeling weird physical sensations. And it could be, can be, so like for me, so Mary Jo has always seen things, like physically. She'll see things, hear tones, all that kind of stuff. Me, not so much in the 5 senses way like that, but for this last while, so for instance, right now, as I'm talking about it, this last while, so right now there's like a fog in front of me. It's a fog, or like bubbles, a bubbly fog, and it'll move. Right, it actually moves in front of me like this, and then it'll just lift and leave. Or tones is another common one. So kind of in a nutshell, there's many different opinions on what those different tones are that you may hear, and I don't think any of them in and of themselves is wrong. There's just many different explanations of what it could be. Probably the most common one is its vibrations that are shifting, right? Sensations in your physical body. So, and I actually just had a message here a few days ago, last night, about somebody, and they said, I'm feeling anxious. And I'm going to kind of use this now as a teaching topic. I'm feeling anxious, and I'm jumping off from here. I'm feeling anxious, and I don't know why. This is something. if you're feeling, I'll use that word, anxious, uneasy, sort of this you kind of thing here, especially if you don't, if there's no obvious, I'd say, obvious reason why, more than likely what's happening is your experience, this wave is picking you up and moving you. And you're feeling your body kind of adjusting to these flows. This is something that invariably our Reiki students and also meditation folks as well will experience, is different sensations. A common one, I call it hat head, right? So it's like you're wearing a baseball cap. So it's like there's a band right here, specifically right here. And it may feel kind of uncomfortable, right? Or a slight headache, or Mary Jo will sometimes feel like pinpricks right on her crown chakra. So sort of in this area here. And the almost like a motion sick, almost like a nauseousness here in your solar plexus. The sacral chakra, low back. Like just, you may feel like you've got, your low back may feel kind of, feels kind of maybe stiff or a bit sore or whatever. And especially if there's no obvious reason for it. If you didn't, recently like fall out of a tree or something. But you may feel these sensations. Kind of all joking aside, if your bathroom habits change. I'm just saying, right? Because the sacral chakra, right, or the band, relates to, I call it the elimination process type thing. Shoulders and throat chakra, big one. It's a big one anyway, and it's a huge one right now. The throat chakra, that's where we choose. That's where we express ourselves, right? And, okay, source is just kind of jumping in here, but you see, up until this last, again, year and change, this is something I've often said, you could be born, live, and die without having to think. Because society, I'll just use that as kind of a catch-all word, has built all these little containers. And then this is a container when you're born, and this, and you go to school, and then you do this and do this and do this and do this. Like, if you're really responsible, you start planning to die when you're like 20. No, okay, no, this is just me. But, right? It's like, well, you need to put some money away now for your 20. Really smart people put money away when they're 20 so they can start to spend it when they're 60. Right now, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong, right? It's just the reason so often that we do it, we don't know why. We don't know why we're doing it. We're doing it because, and then there's no because. There's nothing after it. That's really good. It's like, why are you doing that? Because. Okay. Because why? Often where the conversation gets really interesting. How many things are you doing? How many life experiences are you choosing not to embrace because you're just not supposed to? It's not responsible. What is a responsible thing to do? It's inside this box. Why is this responsible and that irresponsible? That's often where the conversation breaks down. Or you, or the person you're asking the question to, get cranky. Because they don't know why. And when you ask them why, you're inviting them to start to think. And conscious thinking is often, for a lot of people, a really scary place to go. Because we've been taught what to think. Oh, this is really good. So we have been taught what to think. We have not been taught to think. Big difference. You, me, have been taught what to think. We have not been taught to think. However, those structures, and we've been feeling this coming, oh man, I bet 2 years. we've been feeling this coming for a while. And there's a lot of things kind of all showing up into this broadcast, but it's good. And why? Because of this. Right? Because things are getting weird. So there's a rebirthing. I don't know if that's the right word. A reemergence of this deep fundamental flow, which we label, and a lot of other folks, feminine energy flow. Now, feminine, not female. Okay, so every one of us have energy flows, and that's just really oversimplifying it. We have a masculine flow and we have a feminine flow, not male, female. Masculine, feminine. Masculine tends to flow this way. Feminine tends to flow this way. Feminine, it's often called earth energies. It's often called sensual energy. Sometimes sexual energy, right? It's that energy that comes from the earth. That primal energy that flows, right? It's the ocean that moves. And when this energy moves, everything moves. Whether you like it or not, everything moves. And as this is re-emerging, these constructs, these boxes, which were constructed primarily of masculine energy only. Now, when something is coming exclusively from masculine, the masculine isn't bad, it's just when we're out of balance, it tends to come from a place of control, not power. See, there's a very big difference between control and power. And the world tends to mistake control for power. Control is, I can tell you what to think, what to do, what not to do, or this organization or this group or this institution can tell you what you should be doing, shouldn't be doing, what's good, what's bad, all that kind of stuff. Built so often, almost exclusively on masculine energy flows, which then manifest as control, not power or empowerment. Those have fallen away. Now, those have fallen away. And so what that's done for so many people is forced them to have to think. Because now these boxes that told them what to think are kind of in shambles all around them. So now they have no choice but to think. And a lot of people are really, really out of practice. So they're really crappy at it. But in order for things to shift and move, those structures that don't serve us anymore, maybe never did, need to fall away. And that's what has been happening. Making way, not that it needed it, for this feminine energy flow to make its presence known. And that's what we're feeling. And that's probably what you're feeling. So the root chakra is almost, it's so primal. It's that connection with that feminine energy flow. We feel it in sacral chakra. I talked about that. Solar plexus. So the sacral chakra, again, this is where it covers elimination processes and sex organs. Just draw the band, right? The non-physical aspect of this, we have a course actually about this. We talk about it a lot in our courses. The non-physical aspect is your material world, not necessarily money, but things and sexual expression, right? So it could be, again, low back, maybe stiff pain, things like that, or changes in your elimination processes. What's happening? This energy flow is moving through and your body is adjusting to it. Move up to here. This is often where we feel anxious. When we feel anxious, we feel it here or even in here, right? Solar plexus. Solar plexus is us stepping out into the world. Just kind of use that for our purposes here, right? So this is what we found. If you're feeling something that you would label as anxiety or nervousness or whatever that is, especially now, what I think it probably is this flow is not, you're feeling it in your body. And so this energy flow is moving, right? And your body is kind of adjusting to these huge energy shifts, and you feel sensations that are similar to what you would label anxiety, but they're not necessarily anxiety. See, that's the thing. So what I suggested was, okay, throw the anxiety label out and focus on what sensations are you feeling? Like, what are you physically feeling in your body? Because maybe it's not anxiety at all. Maybe that's just, oh yeah, this is what this feels like, so it must be anxiety. So then you look for a reason to be anxious. And we are so powerful, even if there isn't one, you can come up with one and create it. As opposed to just, okay, it feels a bit, well, kind of weird. Okay, well, my body is just adjusting. So what do? Pick your feet up and let the wave carry you. Right? Just let the wave carry you. Just let go. Just surrender. Moves up to your heart. This is where you live. You may feel that tightness in your chest. You may feel the fluttering in your chest. You may feel that. Again, what's happening? It's this energy flow moving, and your body is adjusting to this increased flow. Throat chakra, as I talked about, huge shifts there. This is where you start to express yourself. This is where you start to choose. Like I said before, you can be born, used to be, born, live, and die without ever thinking. But that's fallen away now. There's going to be some people that try and scramble back to that, but you don't have to if you don't want to. Speak out. What is your truth? Expressing yourself. Choosing. Do I want to try and go back into this box that never served me in the first place? Or do I want to start to express who I really am? Do I want to just to have what I want? Or to have to want what I've been told I can have? Two very different things, right? What do you really want? Speak it out. For so long, you've been conditioned to only want what you've been told you can have. Then, of course, the brow chakra, I talked about that. There's our awareness expanding and growing. Crown chakra is our connection for our purposes here to that masculine flow, masculine, feminine, flowing in and blending and radiating out. Okay, I didn't plan on saying any of that stuff, so that must have been really good. So, what is your... This one's really simple. Simple doesn't necessarily mean easy. Let go. Pick your feet up. Let the wave carry you. Let that wave carry you into this magnificent, grander expression of who you are. You don't have to paddle anymore. You don't have to swim anymore unless you really, really want to. Or you can let the wave carry you into this amazing expression of you and your environment and your surroundings. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. 777 Club, you guys know all about that. It's doing really well. I mean, more and more teaching videos. I'm now going to do the purpose-driven meditation experiences, which are really cool. Keep adding value to it for our folks there. They're growing. They're doing so wonderful. Love to have you. You can go to the Facebook page, go to the healingcenter.ca, and you can check out all the information about that as well. Still doing online trainings, but also doing, of course, in-person ones as well. There's dates. Go to healingcenter.ca, scroll down, you'll see kind of our next scheduled dates and things like that as well. All right, guys, it's a Friday. It's warm where we're at. So pick your feet up and let the wave carry you. All right, see you later.